Okay, we're going to get into some Steven Greer stuff here. Now, I'm going to do a little bit of a rant, so you guys got to bear with me. So this is Exopolitics. This is Michael Salla. He did a article on, so Greer appeared on the Gaia, and I will break down what he said because it's in this article, but basically saying that it's better to keep things secret rather than say that, yes, there is some bad ETs. Because if anybody doesn't know, Greer's under the assumption that all ETs are good. And it's like, how can you do that? And it's like, what's good, what's bad? It's service to self versus service to others, or many different agendas here. But you can't just like whitewash the whole thing and say they're all good. I don't know where that comes from, but. So the article goes, when secrecy is better than official disclosure of extraterrestrial life. Continued secrecy is better than disclosing the truth about visiting aliens if they are depicted in any other way than peaceful, non-violent beings attempting to advance the evolution of human life on the Earth. Yeah, it would be great to shadow everything and say that, yes, that's what it is, but it's a very complex subject here, and there's many different groups, there's many different agendas. So Greer referred to Louis Elizondo and Dr. Hal Puthoff on To the Stars Academy as a major part of the threat scenario, and that was the ATEP Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program. I will agree with him on that. This is all part of the whole soft disclosure movement that the government wants to put out, and it's going to be put out on their terms. Louis Elizondo's a part of that. Tom DeLonge's a part of that. He's being used, whether he realizes it or not. It's good and it's bad. I like that it's being pushed out to the mainstream public. But to sit there and push some threat, which, is there stuff going on behind the scenes? Sure. But to say that's like a direct threat and we got to arm up against this alien space warfare, I think we would have seen something by now. But yeah, the whole To the Stars Academy, it's all being used that way. And Tom DeLonge, he's got such an ego, but let's just leave it at that.
Cocainum.
So Greer launched an attack at Michael Salla about saying that there's divided ETs, the good and the bad, and that Greer says this is fueled by disinformation. And the military-industrial complex is exaggerating this for the threat narrative. Now, I talked about, I think it was the second show I did this year, Trump coming out and saying basically space-based weapons are real. I'm surprised that video didn't get many more views than it did. Maybe I should have put a better thumbnail on it. I don't know. But basically admitting space-based weapons are real. If a missile is launched anywhere on the world, we can stop it like that. And I said they got these laser systems out there that can do what they need to do. But that's one step towards saying we got to arm up against aliens and they can just flip them around and shoot towards outer space. Will that happen? I don't know. Obviously, we kind of need this. I hate to say it, but we do need it on Earth to kind of control this war machine. But at the same time, I don't feel like we should be babysitting all these countries. In the article here, it also says, on July 26, 2010, Greer was confronted by Project Camelot. If you guys haven't seen this video, it's in this article. I saw this when it first came out because I knew it was going to be good. They're basically yelling back and forth at Greer about how can you say all ETs are good without knowing. And they just got into this big fight about it. And it just went on for like 30 minutes and they didn't really get anything accomplished. But it was interesting nonetheless. It's kind of good that he got confronted. A lot of people go along to get along with Greer. But it's got to be called out. And also in this article, Greer attacked Corey Goode and William Tompkins, saying that they're disinformation and they're exaggerating about the draconian reptilians. And also they were implanted with false memories. So Greer's basically saying they're part of this disinformation campaign by the government to say that this stuff is going to be for arming up against the bad aliens. So then Greer says continued secrecy is preferred. And now this is what he says. The disclosure of the subject is the most important announcement in the history of the human race. How it's handled, it has to be handled with great wisdom and care. If it's handled with the kind of buffoonery and clumsiness that is evolving, or with partial truths mixed with disinformation, with frightening scenarios that scare the hell out of the public, I actually prefer secrecy. Now that was on a Gaia's TV disclosure series. So basically supports that limited disclosure that we could say in the truth movement, because it's not the whole truth, but Greer thinks it is. We get into this debacle back and forth. Now there's speculation that Greer's invested in this like a new cosmic esoteric world religion. And I'm going to break this down. So he's got, I should save that for later. Let me read this last paragraph and I'm going to get into that, because he does these expeditions and then overcharges for them, and that's what bothers me. Okay. Greer's position that continued secrecy is better than official disclosure announcement, which contains reference to any extraterrestrial visitors as a threat, is a position that he will find increasingly difficult to defend given the public's growing awareness of all available evidence of visiting aliens and the diverse motivations behind their activities. Full disclosure is already well underway through multiple public initiatives, disclosing all aspects of visiting extraterrestrial life and secret space programs. And any effort to filter or curtail such information in ways favored by Greer are certain to fail. That was Sala's thoughts there towards the end of the article. This is so complex to say that they're not here. Well, I can't even say that good or bad either. It's that's weird. You can't, there's so many different agendas. It's like saying all humans, every human here is bad. You can't do that. There's some people that are good. There's some people that are bad. You got different groups. You got different races, sub-races within the human race. You know, we can't even comprehend that yet about, Pleiadians. There's probably like blue Pleiadians and black Pleiadians. We don't know. It's so complex. And maybe those are different. But then even within those groups, there's good and and I hate to use the word good and bad because it's not even a good way to break it down. But it's just, and then we'll get into, this is the clip from, now this is why I want to say hats off to Steven Greer, because he played a big part in my awakening. I'm sure he played a big part in everybody's awakening that, he had woken me up. The 2001 press club event that was part of the Disclosure Project. I think I witnessed that, and when did I watch it? It would have been in, probably 2006, 2007, I came across that. And I looked at the date. I was like, 2001? What? 2001, they came out and basically said aliens are real. And they would swear on the Bible in front of Congress. And here we are, nothing's happened. Now, here we are later, nothing's happened. But we're starting to get this, half-assed disclosure. But here we go. Clifford Stone, I wanted to show this clip from that press club conference because this is where he talks about how many different races, and just think of how complex that would be.
What they look like.
I could, but it would probably take a whole lot of time. The reason I state that, when I got out in 1989, we had cataloged 57 different species. You have individuals that look very much like you and myself that could walk among us and you wouldn't even notice the difference, except for some of the things that they might be able to go ahead, even in a dark room, and touch an object and go ahead and identify what color that object might be. They would have a heightened sense of smell, sight, hearing. The situation is that you have various types of what we normally call grays. We didn't call them grays in the military, but you had at least 3 types of the grays. You had some that were much taller than we were. The unique thing that I'd like to point out for the most part is that the entities that we did catalog were in fact humanoid. Now this created a situation where the scientific community was trying to figure out why that would be the case. because you would expect that if life evolved on other planets, that they would take on some type of other being, so to speak, not necessarily look human.
So I'm going to stop that right there. Clifford Stone was the testimony that really did it for me when I was researching this stuff and just getting into the truth movement. I saw his testimony there, and when he said 57 different species categorized in 1989.
Oh, yeah.
That's insane, folks. And just to get my mind around that, my world stopped for probably a couple days. And, you know, because that was back then, I think a lot more people are acclimated it to now. But that this stuff's actually real. And then Clifford Stone, who actually was part of the alien recovery systems, where when they went in and when the one crashed, he would go up to the entity because he was an empath, and then he could interface with them, get the telepathic messages from them. That was huge for me. And that's why this is so complex, and Steven Greer wants to throw it in one box. Now, let me get into my big rant, because this is going to be, this is where I got a problem with Greer. And hats off to him for sending me this email this last couple of weeks. I would have covered this on the show last week, but of course I had the guests on. But here we go. This is an email from Greer, serious disclosure. March 24th through the 30th, 2019, a week under the stars with Steven Greer.
Uh-huh.
So then we see a picture. This is, of course, the night vision, and you see the two craft in the sky. And they're lit up. Those definitely not stars. They're bigger than stars. They're close up, and they do that. They go by, they light up. Sure. Okay, let's break this down. This week-long intensive is limited to about 30 registrants and provides for an intensive training program with Dr. Steven Greer.
Oh, yeah.
It is also a true expedition where each night we will go under the stars for 4 to 5 hours to make contact using the very effective CE5 protocol. We will be meeting outside Palm Springs, California, USA. During this intensive program, you will learn how to make contact with ET civilizations using the CE5 protocols and how to really become an ambassador to the universe. Also, you will learn advanced training in mantra meditation, advanced techniques of remote viewing, precognition and the science consciousness, the effects of, I'm not even going to say that one. Oh boy. You guys getting sick of that voice yet? An in-depth review of new energy technologies, including free energy and zero-point field anti-gravity, and how the world can be transformed with these new sciences. It goes on and on. All week. By the way, shout out to Renee in the chat real quick before I get to my big breakdown. She says, keep in mind the Earth is flat and stationary. Are you a flat earther, Renee? Come on now. By the way, if you guys want your messages to get read, I forgot to actually open up the Streamlabs, but I bumped it up to $5 if you want it read on the air, just to, you know, some people don't want their stuff read on the air, so you can donate lower denominations and not have that happen. But back to the thing here. Okay, so now please read these details carefully. Tuition for first-time participants. Are we going to read this here, folks? First-time participants, $2,820. That is $2,820. For first-time participants, that's 7 days. For previous participants, the tuition is 1,570. That's 1,570. People must make their own arrangement. Okay, now here's where it is. All right, people say, that's not a bad deal. You probably get some lodging, you probably get food, you probably get transportation to it, and then you don't have to worry about anything. No, you don't. Next line. People must make their own arrangements for transportation, food, and lodging. Afternoon sessions will be at the home Dr. Greer has rented. Evening fieldwork will be in a state park. We will suggest a hotel for people to stay at, as that will make it easier for us to get to know each other and facilitate carpooling to the afternoon and evening sessions. Can we say it again?
Oh, yeah, that sounds good.
By the way, thanks again, Renee, for another donation. Critical thinking equals flat earthers. Now, I don't want to get off too much on the flat earth thing, but I have been watching old clips here and there. They do make some good points. I still believe the world is round myself, but there is some good points being made. So break this down now with Greer. Let's say the minimum. Let's say the bare minimum that he could make off this extravaganza. So let's just say every participant is a previous participant, so they only have to pay $15.70. So if you take $15.70 times 30 for this week-long, 7 days, Under the Stars with Greer, the total is $47,100.
Think you can handle that? Ooh.
What the hell? Now, that is insane. Like, I know he was an ER doctor, and he's probably trying to retain some of that, a lot of that money he was making. But when you're supposed to be spiritual, aren't you supposed to like do less and be what is it? Practice minimalism? I actually want to start doing minimalism myself. I'm trying to sell a lot of stuff and get rid of it just because it ties you down. But there's living and then there's living good. Now, I understand he's got people working for him, but how many of these things does he do a year? I would say a good handful. That's some cash, and he's making movies on top of it. Our next line, let's move on. You must sign a film release. We will be doing some filming for Dr. Greer's next film. You may or may not appear in it, but everyone must sign a release and return it within 2 weeks, or your money will be refunded and your spot given to someone else. So you're going to work on the next film. He's already released 2, Sirius and what the hell was the other one? I can't remember. Maybe somebody in the chat knows the recent one. No, the recent one was Sirius. There was one before that. Maybe I got them mixed up. In the chat room, please let me know if you guys could help me out on that. But yeah, so you got those. They make their money back, by the way, at $20 a pop. You know, I think he goes and spends a little bit more money than he needs to. He said like $300,000 to do a video, but a lot of that stuff was like, well, you get the right person. You know, what are you spending all that money on? Unacknowledged, thank you, sure, Sean, in the chat. That was the most recent one. The first one was Sirius. Let me bring that up a little bit. Perfect. Appreciate it, folks. The chat's there. That's definitely a good help. I love it. Darian Calhoun, awesome that you're watching live. I hope you can get your system running because I want to get you on the show and we can talk about that. Haven't heard from you for a while. And then it goes on for one more point. If you are a previous participant and want to come, you got to write a little bit, write to this email address, let her know which ones you attended. And then if you have a 4K camera, you'd be willing to bring and film interviews and B-roll. And if you have a drone, that's 4K. If you'd be willing to operate and film B-roll as also. I'm sure you're not going to get compensated for that they could at least give you a little bit. But so not only are you paying to go to this thing, Steven Greer has you working for him. So you're paying to work for Greer. That's my rant, folks. That's the thing I got an issue. Those are the 2 issues I got with Steven Greer, because he'll say that there's no bad aliens, and then he'll say that, well, there's not good or bad, and then of course the overcharges for his expeditions. You know, it's one thing to have to want to learn how to do this and go out. It's another to overcharge. That's why I give so much credit to James Gilliland. He'll only charge you, you know, $10 to $30 for camping. $10 to $30, and you're pretty much guaranteed to see a UFO there. Stay there for 2-3 days. That's what we're going to do this year. Pete's going to go with me. He plans on it anyway, as long as, Lord willing, everything works out. We're going to go out there. I'm going to let you guys know if you guys want to join us out there. We're planning a big thing. Shane from Unbiased and On the Fence will be there. Going to be huge. But $20 to $30 a night. Isn't that a little more, a little easier on the budget versus paying Greer?
Oh, yeah. Ooh, definitely.